question for you. It seemed like either Washington was either getting a made basket or a turnover tonight. What do you count for maybe just the discrepancy in defensive possessions for you guys there?
I mean, it started from the get-go. I feel like we didn't come out in the first half like we were supposed to, and that kind of sluggishness I feel like kind of continued throughout the whole game. So, I mean, they got good players, so we gotta make sure we're locked in from the get-go and make sure that we guard the way that we have to make them or to stop them.
Just defensively, it was maybe kind of a struggle for you guys. They shot 64% in the second half. I know you forced some turnovers, but it seemed like, especially late, you guys just weren't able to get stops when you needed them.
Yep.
Why weren't you able to get those stops? What was happening defensively that you just get over that?
I mean, just breakdowns, I guess. Defensively, we're trying to double team and then kind of force rotations there, and they always figured out a way to get the ball to the basket, either get a foul or a layup or a kick out. Yep.
In the last 3 minutes of the game, and Huskies called a timeout, what was Coach kind of telling you guys, kind of leading up as you guys were chipping away at their lead?
Basically just get a stop because we were right there. We were on a run, but we just couldn't get stops to get over the hump of the 3 points, 5 points, and every time we would get a bucket, they would get one too, so we never got over that hump.
Julian, you had 8 free throw attempts tonight, career high, obviously. I mean, it would seem like a struggle for you guys in the first half, kind of breaking down the zone. Was that just a conscious effort for you just to kind of drive to the basket, try to get fouled, and get to the free throw line?
I mean, definitely. We want to attack the zone, get paint touches, whether it's driving the ball, passing the ball in there. And there were a few gaps I thought that could be driven. So if you see gaps, just drive it. And that's really all.
Keon Brooks, 18 points in the second half. What was the difficulties in covering him and managing his shots on the court?
I mean, he's a good player, so he knows what kind of shots he can take and make. So. He got a couple wide open looks that we kind of handed to him, I guess. When a player like that starts feeling it, I mean, it's easier for him to keep rolling. We still gotta figure out how to gap up and how to get a team effort going on players like that to make sure we contain them.
What's the feeling in the locker room right now? You guys were so close to getting this win, and it was just moments away. What's the feeling?
I mean, it stings. There's so many more possessions that you could have picked out where we didn't do our job, or we let them off the hook defensively. And I mean, in a one possession game, which it was essentially, you could pick out any possession.
Third straight loss, and I mean, really competitive all around. But how do you guys as leaders kind of move forward and help encourage your teammates after this?
We try to come to practice tomorrow ready to go because, I mean, this game's over with. We have another one Sunday, so just got to come back, prepare, practice hard, and just get ready to go.
Tristan, you guys obviously know what you're going to get when you're facing Washington in terms of their defense, but it seemed like you guys were missing a bunch of shots around the rim in the paint in the first half. Did it just seem like you were struggling to get in a rhythm offensively in that first half?
Yeah, I mean, we were getting great looks, so that wasn't the problem. It's just a different look, I guess, that you get from your regular defenses in college basketball in the Pac-12. So you got to adjust a little bit, but we've been doing that in practice, and we've been working on those shots. But that's why we don't focus on offense when game time comes around. We focus on defense, and that's what we were lacking today.
Anything else?
Disappointing. So that's the only thing I can say is this was a really, really disappointing loss. You scored 72 points at home. It's good enough to win. There's a lot of ways you can look at this game and see how we lost it. You look at the free throw line. You can look at our defense in the second half. They shoot almost 64% in our building in the second half. We did a great job, creating turnovers. Our press kind of rattled them a little bit, but we just couldn't get over the hump. And you couldn't make shots. You had some really, really good looks, I thought, in the lane. We had some really good looks from three that didn't go in. And at some point, you got to make shots to help yourself win. At some point, you got to help free throws to help yourself win. When your defense isn't good enough, and you got a guy like Keon Brooks who was just lighting us up. I mean, he was player of the game, obviously, not to state the obvious, but 25 points on 12 shots we didn't do a very good job on him as a team or individually. So we got beat. Washington deserved to win. They were the better team. And I apologize to our fans. Our fans deserve more than they're getting from this team. They deserve more than they're getting from me, their coach. And this building was ready to explode tonight, and we couldn't get over the hump to give them a win. And for that, I apologize.
Ted, what do you attribute some of the defensive breakdowns to in the second half, and then shooting 64%? A lot of those were wide open.
Being brain dead. Yeah, I would attribute it to being brain dead and lack of energy. So brain dead means that you're not focusing, you're not concentrating, you're not doing your job, you're not hustling, you're not scrambling. That's what I would attribute it to.
Coach, you've talked about feast and famine from the three-point line this season. 3 of 19 tonight looked to be a famine night. When you're having a famine night, is there something that you tell your guys in the huddle, like, hey, let's try to get to the hoop more? Or
Absolutely.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, you got to get the ball inside. You got to get the ball to the rim. You got to get to the foul line. Now we got to the foul line 20 times. We had 20 foul shots. You take Julian Hammond out of the equation, we're 5 for 12. I mean, so you got to find other ways to win. And Washington is 20th in the country. They're 20th in the country in guarding the three-point line. So this was not news to us. And the reason they're 20th in the country is they're long, they're athletic, and they run hard at shooters. They run them off the line. They run at them. They contest shots late. And we didn't do a good enough job, especially in the first half, of shot faking the guy running at you. Let him go by you, and now you can drive it and get it to the rim, or you might be able to get somebody else's shot. We settled for jump shots. And that's especially in the first half. So we weren't good enough in any facet of the game. Now, we forced 22 turnovers, and we had 16 offensive rebounds. That's the other thing you tell them when you're 3 for 19 from the three-point line. Okay, guys, there's 16 missed shots, long shots or long rebounds, so you got to get second shots. And we got 16 offensive rebounds, but we had 11 second chance points.
The Boston game started to claw back during the second half. What would you attribute that to? The rebounding, the turnovers that you mentioned? What was that last kind of minute fight?
That where we clawed back, or they? Yeah, I mean, it was. We finally found our energy. We finally found, okay, hey, we got to play a little hard. We got to play a little aggressive defensively to try to get back in this game. And I don't know where that was in the first half. But we came out in the second half in a press back to zone, and our zone tonight was just absolutely atrocious. I mean, Brooks got the ball in the high post anytime he wanted, and he just whapped 15-footers. So we got out of that. That didn't work. I mean, I tried everything as a coach. I tried every out-of-bounds play we had against zone. We turned it over for a layup, I know against like UCLA. I know in the first half, I think we had 8 offensive rebounds, and we had 1 second chance point. Tonight we have 16 offensive rebounds, and we had 15 second chance points. Like, we got to convert when we get offensive rebounds, and we're not doing that. They got great length, but it's just a disappointing. I could look at any facet of the game, but I'm gonna watch this film, and I'm gonna tell you it's gonna come down to defense. Our defensive miscues. 63.6%. You round up. That's 64% field goal percentage defense in the second half in our building. loss.
How frustrating is it that you're at this stage of the season and still talking about stuff like mental focus and,
Yeah.
and hustle as being shortcomings?
It's unbelievable. Like we had Julian and KJ in a pick and roll in the second half defensively. We didn't switch it. They got the ball deep in the lane for 2 points. Out of bounds underneath, first half, they whap a 3 because we're not ready to play. They have an inside cut, which we're supposed to switch. We've talked about it. We've worked on it in the first half. We don't do it. We don't talk. P.J. Fuller whaps a wide-open 15-footer. So it's the defensive lapses mentally. And is that frustrating? Oh, my God. I can't tell you how. And I tell our players, I get angry at 3 things. I get angry at lack of effort, lack of concentration, and selfishness. I don't think we have a selfishness problem. I think these guys play together. Now, sometimes they're selfish when they don't run the floor, when they're supposed to run the floor. They're selfish when they don't talk and they're supposed to talk. That's a form of selfishness. So you could argue that. But in terms of sharing the ball, we don't have any issues. Our lack of concentration absolutely drives me crazy. And we had a lot of that tonight.
Been a tough couple of games for KJ Simpson and
Yep.
tough turnover there at the end, but just how confident are you in him kind of turning things around?
KJ's a good player. KJ's a good player that's not playing well right now. That's the fact of the matter. And it's my job as his coach to help him get better, help him recognize mistakes. We didn't lose this game because of KJ Simpson. We lost this game as a team. But I've got to do a better job of helping KJ better than I'm doing right now. I got to do that with a lot of our players.
You mentioned Julian earlier. Do you feel like you've found something in him, and especially in terms of late game scenarios, just given his two-way abilities, that he's the guy you really want to?
Yeah, I think you see his minutes tonight, and you look at his production, and you're like, why is he not playing more? That's a question we have to ask ourselves as a coaching staff.
Anything else for Coach?
Ted,
What do you see from Hammond when he runs the team? What does he bring?
Well, Julian's a good shooter. Number one, he can make open shots for sure. And, Julian's had, again, every player on our team has been inconsistent. You name one player, and you can make an argument that they are an inconsistent performer, offensively and defensively. So Julian's the same way. Tonight, Julian was great. He was great. So, you just got to ride the guys. When you're coaching a team like this, where you don't know what you're going to get from a particular player on a given night, it's like you're just throwing them out there saying, okay, who's got it tonight? Who doesn't have it tonight? And sometimes I stick with guys I think can get it, and they don't get it. And then I look like a fool as a coach. And it's inconsistency is something that we've got to figure out, and we've got to be consistent defensively. We have been the last 4 games. I've praised our team the last 4 games with their defensive effort and their defensive execution in the half court. Tonight, it wasn't there. I don't know why, but it wasn't there. They have to answer that. I'm going to watch the film and show them things that they need to do better. That's what I have to do as a coach. We're going to practice tomorrow. We're going to practice on Saturday. We're going to try to get ready for Washington State on Sunday. Washington State's going to come in here. Washington State, if we guard like we guarded tonight, Washington State will have 23s. Washington had 9. Washington State will have 20, the way they shoot the ball from 3. So we better figure out how to guard the three-point line. Certainly better than we did tonight.
Ted, what's the situation with Javon Ruffin?
Well, hopefully Jalen and Javon can practice and get back in the rotation and help this team out some way, somehow. We'll see if they're practicing tomorrow. If they're practicing tomorrow, they might have a chance to play Sunday. If they don't, they won't. It's no big, I'm not worried about who's not playing. I'm worried about who is playing. Thank you.